What are you doing?
Be still, my heart. You're always sneaking up on me.
I came in from a different way this time.
Through the skylight. I thought I heard something up there. Well, I was having a thought last night in the wee hours, and I decided to take all this apart. I took everything out of the car. I started thinking, that's some amateur work right there. Anybody that looks in there is going to be like, oh, he stuck a piece of steel in the door jamb. It tilted the doors. Whoopee.
I mean, it is pretty cool, but I see what you're saying.
Not cool enough. I told you it was going to escalate. That's that piece there on the bench. Got the little sliders. Everything's still squared up and intact. But I was looking at the doors. Now that I took the door latch out, it's just going to fall off probably, but I could strap it. Sure, it's going to fall off. I get one of my many fastening devices.
It's one way to do it.
Works as good as any door latch. Stay. Seeing anything there?
I see some drawing.
You know, I was thinking there's been such a debate about this quarter window, about this. Then there's something about this that can be improved on. And I don't like why would you have a square peg in a round hole scenario, right? It worked on the Beetle to have the square door. Excuse me, I'm getting so excited.
Make sure it's all plugged in.
That unit was so close to where the seat back was going to be, there was no way I was going to be able to sit in there. And being that as a chop top, I would be sitting back here anyway, because I've been in a lot of lowered bugs, etc., where I lower the seat. I always end up with my head kind of back here. So I thought, what if the door was bigger? And what if the door wasn't even square? What if the door was just like an organic shape? So that would just mean cutting the whole side of the car open, sort of like a van, and didn't have this.
I like it.
There's options. But what I wanted to start with was getting that big assembly further back in the car and further down. When we pivoted this yesterday, I was talking about having the rocker panel, somewhere, I think I marked it right here, somewhere up in this. That's a big step to get over. So I was thinking, and you notice that the door didn't leave a lot of room to enter. It was somewhere in here when it was swung open. I was like, what if I can get that pivot back and down, somewhere into here? That would make this door opening potentially this big. And it wouldn't have to be square. I'm not even considering this window. I'm thinking about if you just had a blank side of the car, I mean, your defining line is something in this drip rail coming down. I don't even think it would need to be in here. Like, this could be even more organic. This could sweep back through here for the side window. Make quite a thick A-pillar, but I mean, it could come down to here and then round out. Like, anything could happen. There's no reason to adhere to this shaped door at all. And I think the car will be better for it. Don't you?
I agree.
Got you a new stool over there.
Aww. Love it. Thanks, darling.
Yeah. I cleaned the cat litter box and made a director's chair. It's quite
I'm
the
so
morning.
loved.
It's the little things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is getting to the point of where I'm at. This, I bent this morning, just a piece of 1.5 inch roll cage tube, like I use a lot. Imagine this, right, being the structure and cutting out everything in between these two pieces so that this could straddle the chassis center tube. Let me open the door.
Yikes.
So look in here. So look through that window. So this was our height. We were on top of this bar. So if I was to bring this straight back, I would be somewhere in here. And I thought, what if I made a horseshoe shape that the structure of that assembly would go over and bring that down to here? That's a huge difference. The seat would work at all costs, no matter what seat you put in here. So I said to myself, that's what we're going to do. Change everything. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to do a little grinding over here. The idea that I'm coming up with is I'm leaving room for the weld. See how I ground this piece out? As this will have a nice heavy weld all through, and it'll be cut off in the center. So when the door shuts, it's coming in, and see, not interfering with that weld. That's what's on the vise right now. So the idea is this will be welded hard, big, heavy weld, because this is going to be the structure now. It will be tied into the chassis, but you won't have all this gear, as I was mentioning. Try to lighten it up. Plenty of room for that weld. As the door shuts, it won't interfere with the big weld bead. That's the theory. Just going to finish grinding this one out, and then we'll set it up and weld it. So you can see, yeah, I'll give it plenty of room. Cool. Let me clean off this area, get a nice place to weld. This is a first too. I'm actually going to clip the welding wire before I start welding.
What is happening with you? Are you having more patience in the shop?
Sometimes a man goes through changes. I'm going to clean the nozzle as well.
Wow.
Actually, I just want to make a nice weld, because this has got to count. This is going to be holding up both doors. And with a lot of stuff, especially sheet metal, you know, I'm just blasting it, working through, especially if it's going to get ground down. But this has got to be strong. The welding wire is a little bit small for this task, so that's why I'm making it count too. 035 wire would be more suitable for this. But I have 030, 03030 in the machine. I'm going to make that work. I got it set pretty hot. And there's no wind, but sometimes when you run it hot, it'll tend to bubble up. Maybe have some oxidation. Just trying to do a nice job. Look how clean everything is.
Oh, pretty.
I'm gonna run this in that saw, I think. See what we can accomplish.
So have you ever made doors like this before?
No, I've actually taken a stock car door and done something similar, but not with a reverse flip. And I did a Model A Ford where we cut in a back door, so it was a similar thing to this curve where we cut through the sheet metal. So I've touched on those ideas.
I love it.
Never anything quite this serious. See if we can fix that up in the saw. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's gonna be dicey if it does work, I'll tell you that. That's what we like. I think it's gonna shudder a lot. But hey, we're here for the adventure, right?
I know I am.
Excuse me?
I said, I know I am.
I know I am. See what happens. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? That's the limit. Just made it. Yeah. Release, you fiend. Push that right to the edge. So there's a little heat in here, so they did twist a little bit, but I'll just open that up with a screwdriver and get the blade out. Probably put a steel wedge in here, but let's see if this junk old screwdriver can do it. There it is. Yeah, let's do that again. Okay, so I got my rough eyeball guesstimate on that side now, because the key is to try to match it up. I was attempting to leave enough room for a little piece of a steel. Oh, look at that, I eyeballed it perfectly. I cannot argue that point. Just see how it's inside, see how I'm cutting into the steel tube? So I can cap this with a steel plate, 1/8, and not be thicker than this. So what I'm attempting is to bring that same line, maybe on this side. Yeah, so see, I gotta come just a little bit more. Yeah, right there. Yeah, with every fabricated welded part, there's always that little bit of tension. You know, you even see that with the chop tops when you cut it. That's all that grabbed the saw. As long as you catch it in time. Otherwise that blade could go away. Actually just inside the mark where I need to be, so this is gonna cut off. Which is fine, I'll just trim that out with the grinder. It's a little secret in there. It's just between us, director. That cut was perfect, wasn't it?
Wink, wink.
Like I say, be inspired once, never measure, make it count.
You know, I was thinking about what you said yesterday at the end of the episode.
What? Life is a mild yoke to bear.
Well, there's that. Oh my God. You're crazy. Just that the door wasn't quite weird enough yet.
Hey,
So I was reflecting on that.
check this out. So now instead of being up on this bar, it's going to be back and independent. So I can even cut this out a little bit more. We're hanging up on these rocker panels inside, so I'm going to clear that out. But we can go way low with this. Or maybe we won't go low. Maybe we'll just let this be a focal point. Something to discuss. But what I'm getting at is anything can happen with this door skin now. You know, we can take this down and back. Looks like we could take it down to this original door opening height, which would be pretty slick. Give the door a lot more shape.
Well, we were looking at a few cars this morning with that higher rocker panel, and I have to be honest, I really didn't like it. Like the higher right there.
You mean, so in short, you're saying that you don't like that awesome Volkswagen of all time? What was that called?
I'm not saying I don't like
I'm
that.
joking.
I don't like it. I just,
Twisting your arm.
for me, my eye, it wasn't pleasing
It's
to
going to
my
be a
eye.
lot harder to get into also.
But dude, that car though, it is pretty sick.
Oh, the pink lady.
Yeah, I mean it's gorgeous. But just the higher rocker panels, I don't know. Just didn't fully do it for me.
Well, I think I'm going to cut this inner section out. Can you see through here how this stamped structure is in there?
I think so.
It's kind of hollow in there. It doesn't do a lot. It's like an interior panel. So I'm going to trim this.
There we go.
I'm going to trim this out, and that way this big heavy piece can go straight down. Let me mark it both sides. Do a little measuring. Oh, another point of me leaving this angle iron in is I have a reference to measure from now every time and keeping that parallel and height-wise the same as it was.
I was wondering why that got left, but
That's a huge thing in any car project, is finding measuring points, especially when they're as blown apart as this one is. So in yesterday's event, I measured up from the rocker panel both sides, and then we're using the door jamb as the square point. So height and distance will be symmetrical on everything else we build. So we are at 5 3/4. This one is, wow, 6 1/2. See, that's why we measure. 6 1/4. There we are, 6 1/4. It's that simple. You measure for the cut and mark it. All right, I'm gonna zing this out. There's not gonna be nothing to see here. Just a bunch of sparks and noise. You can take a look in there. You'll see there's not a lot going on. That was a interior panel that was meant to just hold and butt up against the door panels. I'm sure it offered a little bit of strength, but see that notch? That should allow this to drop considerably. Oh, yes. And we can weld right to this floor pan. These can stay in place much lower. Pivot point went from here to there.
I like it.
I like it too. I think I'm going to tack this. Let me measure. We got 8. We got, wow, 8 matches. One more quick measurement. See, by gripping onto this floor pan, we have a lot of strength. Even though this is split now, we can grab, gusset, so it'll be still very strong, with even though we took out that much material. looks solid enough for now. In the end, it will have a very strong gusset right through here. Unless I have two triangles. I don't think I need to weld that. I'll hit the backside. Yeah, I'm actually going to put a gusset in right here, because I can see a little bit of wiggle still. I always keep the random selection of triangles left over from cuts. They come in handy. Do a quick trim on that. I'm going to drill a hole in the body as a point of reference. Of course, I'm talking out of frame.
I mean, you technically were in frame. I just wasn't gonna run over them.
No, there's nothing to see on this side. My damn drill. There it is. Just trying to gauge where this piece is in relation to the body skin. So I'm going to drill a tiny little hole through just to get that reference point. Pretty much that's the top. So we can measure 2 inches down from there. Cool. So we know that our pivot is going to be somewhere based in here. So we can go, you put on a straight edge on that, just compare. So I'm putting that straight edge right across, so it's 2 inches lower than that point. If I'm measuring correct. What is this? Yep, 2. That's the hole. So we're 2 inches lower than that. That's pretty much where our structure is in there. So yeah, we could come down almost 2. Yeah, because this is all open right to here. So we could bring that door down to here, just like it was. So that being said, what's the shape of the door?
Ooh.
I think I'm going to tack weld that door into place. I'm going to clean the paint off and weld that door right to this. That way it all stays. All right, so that's tack welded in place for the hinge start part. And then I cut out the support in here and sanded all the edges. So I'm going to weld this door right into place. One thing that really matters is the belt line, even though we're not going to have a belt line in the end. Just try to keep it same proportions. That's where it used to be. Gonna put one tack here. So here's the deal. I don't think I want this in here anymore. I think I want this window much smaller. So it's going to be one window. I was thinking because our structure is here, it's going to be a lot of lines going down right about now. I mentioned van door and I started thinking about that. I like this front door jamb here. This gives a lot of room for your feet to get in and out. I was drawing lines up here, trying to get all artsy, but I think because we have all this potential, I think I'm going to leave the rocker right where it is. When I cut this, I'm going to cut under here to relieve this outer skin. It's going to be a bit of a sawzall task, but thinking like, what if we just all of that? Then like maybe from here it broke up. And then this window was just kind of brought it to here, so that the door opening would be somewhere up in here. I think what I'm going to do is cut through with the saw, take this pillar out, then I'm going to cut this body open, take the whole thing right off, and just see what it looks like inside. Just for now, something about this. Like, I like a little bit of a, maybe, what do you think, director?
So you're wanting to go curved with the door
Well, just
down?
a little hip in it, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it would be cool personally, because of the fenders, like the door jamb, the what is that called? The gap. Like it kind of goes like along that same
It
curve.
doesn't break this, right? It's just like
Yeah,
boom.
yeah, no, it like flows, so like that's all one panel. So like it just looks like all one door. So the only um what is that called? The gaps that you see are the front gap, obviously, nearest the front fender. And then would that be gone then where you put your hand right there?
This is gone. It's one
Yeah. So
window.
now it's one window. So you could make the window smaller
This would move into
and then
here.
we can incorporate those dope van thingies. Cause yeah, it was like getting way too busy. And it would be cool in the back if it kind of was like a not an invisible door gap, but ran with the curves of the fenders because of the way that the door is going to open.
And also, here we're going to have to do the modification for the fenders.
Mm-hmm.
So there probably will be a bit of a swoop in here
Yeah.
to accommodate the fender. But then that's it. It'll just be one. The whole side of the car will
Right. No,
open.
and I think it'll look so smooth. And then just the way the doors open, like it's kind of like an optical illusion. It's like you look at it because like at car shows and stuff, you look and see what people do, and you're like, well, how does that happen, or how does that happen? It would be neat to be like, well, how do you get in it?
One thing that was bugging me too is, this line is important. And it looks like this
Yes.
door is a little bit lower. So there's a gap here. So by cutting this off, I could fix that. I'll put the yardstick on there and we can
Yeah.
discuss. Or that's just standing back and looking at it in photos, it does a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, you see that? Doesn't this one look lower? It is by about that much in my estimation,
Yeah.
right? So we can take this, cut it off, and bring this up a little bit. And I think this will stay with the car. I'm talking about like the typical Merc style slash cut. When you do a hardtop conversion on a Merc, we'll cut that, and then the whole thing will open, but it won't have a door top when it opens. It'll just be this. A lot of thoughts in one statement. I'm going to weld this. Actually, I'm going to cut this, then I'm going to bring this up, then I'm going to weld it. Yeah. Yesterday was fast and easy, huh? That was proof of concept. Now we got to make it count.
Right. Well, and that was the thing you said at the end of it. I asked you how you felt about it, and you said it was cool, but you're like, it's not weird enough. And if you want your cars to get noticed on the custom circuit, you got to go wild, man.
Circuit.
There's a whole custom car circuit.
I ain't going to more than one show at a time. Ain't got no time for that. I'm a car builder, not a car shower. It's gonna get noisy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see, then I can lift that up. Yeah, see, that looks a little better already. I'm gonna spot that up. I'm gonna cut that with the grinder because that's bugging me already just looking at it. Hate to have these little flags hanging down when I'm considering.
Yeah, taking out, that's the B pillar, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it already makes a difference.
Wonderful carburetor parts are vibrating down into the nether regions. So, yeah, we're gonna try to make this whole panel come off.
We're in it now.
Oh yeah, there's no turning back. So I'm gonna cut this outside first. I try to reach up in here with the grinder and see, because I gotta stick that Sawzall blade way in to get that inner panel out. So let me just do a little probe. And then see. Just gonna make it happen. You may ask why I did that little step cut.
Say what?
You may ask why I did that little step cut.
Why did you do that little step cut?
Because when I close the window up, I'm going to create a new door structure. And when I take this panel, I'm going to move it in.
Ah.
Yeah, so that's just a little thinking ahead moment. See what happens when I put this blade in there. Oh yeah, 100. It's gonna work.
Oh my God.
There it is. What a mess. A majorly structural part of the car. That's why it's taking its time. Oh, we're almost through. We're right there. Cool. Pretty straightforward way to clean out the interior of the panels too. Look at all that crud coming off.
I'm gonna stay out here.
It's getting wild and woolly. Aha!
Okay. You okay, you just kind of blew my mind, and you want to know why? So I thought that this, you were going to cut that out too, but that's just going to stay. You're just bringing the window in because are we going to have glass in the windows or no?
Yes, but that's a whole trick thing. That's why I brought up the Merc. Your window glass potentially could get caught on this. So there's a little trick that we've done in the past. But the idea is just the bottom open. So you have your structure, big structure over the top.
Ah,
And
okay.
again, this is going to move forward to
Yeah.
whatever it looks right. But now you can see our little hinge
Way
Bob.
better.
Way better. With this clearance for that. We couldn't even move this because now we're not committed to any of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, let me cut this off. We might even move this over here to get an even better arrangement.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. It's getting weirder.
But look at all this room to get in the car. I can take this off too now because we don't need that to measure.
You could do it.
Put in that gusset, so I have to clear out for that. There it is. Look at that fit up. That's pretty cool. Right? The gusset. It's like a puzzle piece. I'm gonna cut this thing out. Cut it right out.
Wow.
Look at all that room in there. Isn't that cleaner?
Enough room for all the activities.
So yeah, it's gonna be the same concept as before, getting that pin, etc. in shape. But now, when you get in the car, I mean, there's ample room,
Yes.
even with the chop top. If I'm sitting up here, it's fine. What time are we at?
Like, I don't know, about an hour and a half. I think you've answered a lot, lot, lot of questions,
I always like to give the cookie at the end. You know, it's just
comments.
like where's the where's the reward in this one though?
Well,
I mean,
your
just all concept. Oh, I know where the reward is. Here we go.
that's your TV self, darling.
Well, I want to keep it interesting. Here, this is going to wrap it up. So this is how the door works.
Yes.
Just going to take 100 million hours to pull it all together. That's the concept. Quarter panel and door joined, large side opening. We're in there deep now, huh? Stay tuned.